Pisces, hello, welcome to Coffee, Sage, and Tarot. I apologize for my voice and for the delay in getting these to you. I ended up coming down with a nasty flu, and my voice is just now coming back. So I wanted to get these to you as soon as I could. Instead of doing a monthly check-in, as we are heading into the new year, I wanted to do an overall look at 2026 for each of the signs and take a look at what we should be leaving behind. Major challenge as we head into 2026 and the best way to overcome that, as well as what Spirit needs you to know or would like you to know. But first, we're going to take a look and see what your overall energy is as we enter into the new year. Show me Pisces, please. That's too many. Show me Pisces, please. Thank you. That one just flew right out. Prince of Wands. Okay, so fired up here. The Wheel. Interesting. Wheel of Fortune, Three of Swords. Princess of Wands. High Priestess. You're fired up. You're fired up here. And there's some hurt. Feels like almost this idea of, can we turn back time a little bit, is what I'm seeing here. But the Wheel brings its own changes, right? The Wheel brings its own changes. Karmic changes, right? As well. Something to note. But when that pops up, it helps us kind of sort things out, right? Sometimes by making life a little bit uncomfortable, and sometimes by adding a little bit of cushion to wherever we land, right? So that's some nice energy here, right? As long as we're not getting too ahead of ourselves here, it feels like you're ready, starting this new year with a bang, which is nice to see. Leaving behind that Two of Wands energy. What's the obstacle or challenge for Pisces, please? What's the obstacle for Pisces? Ace of Wands in reverse. Interesting. A lot of fire energy. Wondering if this is anger. Show me how to overcome this, please. It feels like that. There we go. And what does Pisces need to know? Why am I not surprised to see that King of Pentacles there? Okay. Yeah, this definitely feels like accepting here. Facing your fears. Scorpio and Cancer, so the other water signs, did have an aspect of that as well in their reading, right? This idea of facing our fears, moving on. And it feels like here something's got you really fired up, Pisces, as you enter into the new year here. Maybe this is that kind of how are we channeling this energy, right? And using that passion in a good way. What are we leaving behind here? That Two of Wands energy. That's interesting. I'm wondering if you've been going down a certain path or directing this energy in a way, and Spirit is kind of saying, okay, it's time to change direction here, change course, right? And the reason I say that is because not only do I see this, but I see this and I see this. So with that Ace of Wands in reverse, in terms of the challenge here, is how are we not utilizing this opportunity to the best of our ability? It's really what I'm seeing here. What are we choosing, right? And aces are neither positive nor negative, right? It's just our interpretation of them. And what this feels like is, a little bit of frustration, and just the kind of aspects of anger, frustration, what's the word? Impatient. Right? So just getting fired up and kind of maybe taking it out on others, taking it out on yourself, right? These kinds of things. So it feels like that's the challenge, right? Which makes sense when the Prince of Wands is your energy, right? It's very, very boisterous, very youthful, very go, go, go energy, right? Like act first, think later. And, that's great. It's a beautiful energy. But how do we temper that a little bit? Or how do we make sure that we're leading from our heart and leading from what we really want, as opposed to going in and kind of destroying everything and then we're upset that our prized possessions were broken, right? So that kind of thing, just making sure that there's more thought, there's more action, there's more thought behind the action, right? So then we go into here, how can we overcome this? Well, we move into more grounded action, more stability here, right? Providing more stability for ourselves, focusing on our successes, focusing on what we want, being very slow and steady, right? Almost taking this prince and slowing him way, way down to a halt to think about and be rational with what we're doing and how we're moving forward in the best way possible, right? Need to know, death, change, transformation, right? And that's kind of what I feel we want to happen. How can we make sure that you're using your energy to the best of your ability in order to get what you want out of life, in order to get to where you want to go, right? How can we make that happen for you? By honing that passion, honing that energy, and using it in a productive way, right? Yeah, it feels like there's some hard truth that you're facing here, Pisces. Show me that Two of Wands for Pisces, please. Yeah, so just really marching into this change here and acknowledging that we have to do some sort of work surrounding, excuse me, I'm so sorry, what's keeping us back, and surrounding what, we're surrounding ourselves. Pisces is what I'm seeing here for you, okay? So the Two of Wands is clarified by Temperance, King of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles here. Really slowing down, like almost stopping is what I'm seeing here. Probably stopping, and focusing on that balance, right? Tempering that wand energy with practicality, with a grounded earth energy here to understand where we're going. Are we being intentional about how we're placing our energy, where we're going, what we're thinking, where we're moving, right? Or are we just moving? Are we just moving in the direction that our passion is going and not really thinking about it, right? It feels like that's kind of what Spirit is bringing forward with this Two of Wands is, are we being intentional? And perhaps you have found yourself in some sort of situation or in an environment where you don't want to be. So how do we walk that back? Or how do we move out of there, right? Well, we have to be, first of all, open and honest with ourselves and acknowledge what it took to get here, right? The mountain of understanding. And understand where we want to be and how we can start to pull ourselves into that place that we want to be, right? And using the best of ourselves, right? Using our practical mind and tempering our fire, our passion, and directing it in a beneficial way. Ace of Wands here. Show me that challenge for Pisces. Show me that challenge for Pisces, please. Thank you. Wow. Okay. So again, you're in the shadow here, right? Sorry, I'm just looking in your shadow here. It's almost like you're denying yourself an ending. You're denying yourself the... You're not moving on. You're not moving on from this, right? And it's almost like maybe you don't want to move on. Maybe you're holding out hope for something here, right? Digging your heels in. But why? You know, why are we doing that? What's the purpose? What's the point? Is it helpful of you? Is it helpful for you? Is it beneficial to you, right? Ace of Wands in reverse, we have that clarified by the Page of Pentacles, the Sun, Seven of Cups, and King of Wands. Again, this idea of coming into practicality, coming into that grounding energy, that earth energy here, the Sun, clarity, right? Shining a light on the fantasy, on the disillusion, on the ideal, on the, perhaps even on the ways that you've been deceiving yourself, thinking, oh, no, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this. I have a clear, strong purpose here of what's going on and what's happening, right? No. I know. And perhaps, there's part of you that's convinced of that, right? That you're working from a strong center, a purposeful center, right? And it feels like there's some part of that, some part of you that needs to acknowledge that you might be maneuvering from a place that isn't helpful to you. And you're delaying that end for whatever reason, holding out hope, right? Being a little bit stubborn or thinking like, if I just hold out a little longer, it's gonna, and your motives look good on paper, but, inside there's something a little bit more that maybe you're not sharing or not really wanting to admit, right? And that's really what's driving you here. And it feels like you've done a good job of convincing yourself that you're in control, but it feels like there's some aspect of disillusion that is partly leading the charge in a little bit more of a way than you give it credit, right? And so the challenge is acknowledging that we're operating from a sense of, we want for example, we want this really big happy ending, and it with this house particular. This house, this is the perfect house, and it's got this and this and this and this. We're going to get it, and we're going to get it, and we're going to get it, and we're going to manifest and manifest and manifest and manifest. But perhaps the disillusion is that it doesn't have to be that house, or we want it to be that house because, our ex lives next door to that house, right? Or something like that, right? To where it's like there's something more than what you're showing, than what you're saying. And so we're focus, but there's more of a motivator here. And so the challenge is to bring light to and be super honest about what your motivations are and how you're maneuvering and why you're delaying an ending that you understand is over. It's over. But you're still holding out hope. And so again, it becomes this idea that we need to be grounded. We need to be practical. We need to take ourselves out of this illusion, out of this fantasy mindset, and come into reality and say, look, this is where we are. And I'm doing myself no favors by trying to pretend it's something that it's not. By continuing to lead myself further and further away from what it is that I really want. Right? Show me this Eight of Wands, King of Pentacles, for how Pisces Okay. All right. I still keep seeing denial here. Yeah, I still keep seeing denial. You know, but working hard. Working hard to walk away from some aspect of this, right? And I feel like that's, yeah, so how do you overcome this? By working hard to walk away from some aspect of this, right? But I do see you holding back a little bit. I do see you kind of holding on to whatever this energy is, right? But you're trying to work on how to move forward, and that's admirable here. So coming into this energy, we have Justice, Five of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles here. Yeah, acceptance, for sure. Acceptance. Making a decision and moving forward in that way. Ace of Pentacles here. Some new opportunity, right? Allowing for new opportunity to come. Because it feels like whatever you're holding on to here is not allowing something new to come through, right? Because you're so focused on trying to make this fit that we're not seeing something else that could potentially be very good for you, but not in the same way, right? Holding out for that house that we want, that we need, you know, is keeping you, for example, from seeing that maybe you really need to move to the coast and the water's good for you, you know, and keeping you from seeing this really good opportunity for this beautiful house on the coast, something you never thought possible, right? And so just that kind of idea of acceptance here, of understanding, of engaging again in a way, right? Of almost with that fire energy, with that wand energy, right? Coming back into the game, coming back into society to see and to kind of banter, right? Back and forth with people, to engage with people a little bit in a way that you're more open, as opposed to pushing so hard for something that you know has ended, right? Show me that Death card for what Pisces needs to know. Show me that Death card for what Pisces needs to know, please. Oh, I did that, sorry. Yeah, again, right? Coming to an end. Something's coming to an end. I wonder if by the end of the year you'll finally accept it and close that loop. But it feels like a very difficult one for you. And with the wheel showing up, it feels like you need a boost with it. You need some help in this, right? In getting this going and keeping with it here. With the Death card, we have that clarified by the Knight of Wands again. And there's, except for here, there's wand energy pretty much everywhere. Wand is dominating. We have the Knight of Wands, 10 of Cups in reverse, and 9 of Cups. So both of these being Pisces cards, both of these being you, right? And it does feel like this Knight of Wands is carrying this distorted idea of a happy ending on its back, right? Carrying this with it wherever he goes. And it feels like there's this idea of we want to be here. We want to be happy. We want to be maneuvering in a way and seen in a way that we look good, that we're acknowledged for all the work that we've done, right? Because it's you're undergoing a lot. But with that Knight of Wands and the 10 of Cups, it feels like we need to change, again, this idea, what you need to know, we need to change that energy out. Change this idea of carrying this on your back, carrying this with you like a weight into every room, into every dynamic, into every situation here, forcing it to fit in a place that it does not fit. How do we transition away from that into a place where we fit, where we feel good, where we feel in control, right? Where we feel grounded, rooted, a sense of deep personal accomplishment without the need to have that sense of accomplishment from anyone else, from anything else, right? Let go of that disillusion and move forward into a sense of security and true sense of stability of the self, right? It's almost like we need to allow that change to come through, and it feels like you're not, because you're digging your heels into that, right? 7 of Cups, yeah, digging your heels into this kind of illusion, this disillusion. 5 of Cups. You need to let go. You need to let go. And yes, grieve what was lost, but at first acknowledge that it's not yours. You need to let go of it, right? The star. Perhaps it was your star. Perhaps it was your star, and that's why it's so hard. We're still holding out hope. We're still fighting for it. We need to realize that some aspect of it no longer serves, right? It's not of benefit for you anymore, whatever this is. What else here for Pisces? Ace of Pentacles, new opportunity. New opportunity. 5 of Pentacles, walk away. 3 of Wands, now's the time. 5 of Swords, again, that conflict, right? What are we fighting for? What are we standing here for? That stubbornness of like, we're here, we're angry, we're upset, we're feeling all these feelings, but why? Why are we so tense? Why are we holding on to something when we should just be letting it go? Should we be just letting it go? Why are we still here? Why are we arguing and doing the same dance over and over and over and over and over without seeing any movement? Right? What's keeping you there? Why can't you move? Knight of Pentacles, new direction. King of Cups, emotional accountability. Being the best version of yourself. Having this understanding that where you are, is that the best place for you to be? Is it the most effective place for you to be? Is it the most effective use of your time, of your energy, of your passion, of your drive? You're an extremely motivated individual, Pisces. You are. You got a lot of fire. You got a lot of passion. You got a lot of heart. Are you using it in the best possible way? Gray, endings are inevitable. It's time for healing, not war. arguing this or fighting, fighting about it is not going to make it any less or any better, Expectations. Don't seek anyone's approval. Sundress. Do it for you. Universe. We're all just stardust. Garden. Something lovely will grow from this. You will. You will grow from this. You will 1000% grow from this. Well, library. Take control of your own narrative. Right? I listen with love to my body's messages. I take a nice deep breath and release all resistance to healing. Each person is part of the harmonious whole. With joy, I recognize my perfection and the perfection of life. That's beautiful. Pisces, this is what I have for you as we head into 2026, okay? It's been such a joy reading for you up until this point, and I can't wait to continue reading for you in the new year. And I'm so excited to see how this unfolds for you. It's a lot, right? It's a lot. I know it is. But it's your work, right? You are in control of this. Tarot is only a mirror. It is only a mirror. And it feels like these are struggles that have been struggles for a long time. I wish you all the very best, Pisces. All the very best for the new year. And you take care. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening.